So here's some basic terms and words that explain the different sections and parts of your sewing machine. Here we have our thread spool, and it's on a spindle. Ours is a sideways loading one, and it's got a stopper on top of it. So this little plastic guy here is the stopper. They come in different sizes and different shapes. So the thread goes through and down and around to actually thread up. Here is the sometimes known as the bobbin winder. So this is where we would actually wind a bobbin through. And then we're on to the main sort of body of the machine. This is sometimes called the throat of the machine. So it's where we're going to fit things through. When sewing, we always, a garment in particular, we always want the bulk of our fabric to be towards the left-hand side. So we don't put it through the throat if we can possibly avoid it. We always want it on the other side. Here we have our needle, which is threaded front to back. So the thread comes down, goes through the needle, and the thread then comes out the back. This is our regular stitching foot, and it's known as our presser foot. It is lowered by a lever. My lever happens to be on the inside of my throat. Sometimes they're out the back. And you'll notice here that my little stop-go button, as I like to call it, goes different colors. When it goes green, the presser foot is in the lowered position, which means the machine is ready to stitch. When it is red, the presser foot is in the up position, which means it is not ready to stitch. Here is the reverse button, which we use for locking off stitches at the beginning and end of seams. Some people, instead of having a button, will have a lever. So if you don't have a button, look for a lever. This is the needle up, needle down position. So needle down, needle up. Not everyone has one of these. If you don't have one of these, you can also use the big hand crank on the side to do it manually. My machine has an auto cut-off, so when I come to the end of stitching a line, if I wanted to, I can push this button and it will automatically cut and snip my threads off for me. Here is my speed dial. Slow, walking pace, as speedy as it gets. The moment I've been demoing, so I'm kind of the middle. I must say I almost always sew it to the end. I'm very much a lead foot sort of sewer. In here is our bobbin. I have a drop-in style bobbin, which means we can see it from the top. To take the bobbin case, to change the bobbin, I lift off the case, and it would go back in. Okay, I'm going to move again so we can see. I have a little display panel showing me all of my different stitch types. So I have a stitch selection, so I can scroll through my different ones and shows me the different bits. I've obviously quite, on a computerized machine, I have quite the selection. You don't need a huge number as long as you've got a straight stitch and a zigzag. Pretty much good to go for garment sewing. Everything else is a added benefit. Down here I have things that relate to the embroidery functions of my machine and different menus. On many machines you would have more, maybe potentially some dials or different things which allow you to do different stitch selections or change the length and width of your stitches. And then on the very side of your machine you have the big circle hand crank. This guy here, the big nice one on the end, what it helps you do is it helps you to lift and move your needle without the aid of the power of the machine. So whenever you get a little bit stuck, sometimes using your hand crank to roll it towards you helps you get unstuck, and it helps you take fabric out to the side. So if anything goes wrong and you're not using your power, this is always a good way to go. All right, couple of quick little hints and tips there. I hope that helps you find out what's the parts of your machine are called and how you can use them.